Welcome back. So I got this today, and I figured I want to wear the Ron Cena shirt in a video now that I finally got it. So and it matches nicely with the John Cena hat, so I kind of have to. So I watched Smackdown tonight. If you like tag team matches, you're in luck. If you don't, too bad. So it starts off with Jacob Fatu attacking Solo Sikoa in the parking lot. Sure. What I love about wrestling is that this will happen and then nobody goes to confront the other for a while. So they're all in the same building, but they don't even seem to worry about it initially. So King of the Ring Cody's out for a promo. Orton interrupts. They're teasing an Orton heel turn. They're also kind of teasing a Cody heel turn. We know that The Rock said that Cody was going to turn heel. Cody's poured cold water on that idea, kind of, although he's admitted that he could have another heel run before he's done, and when this is all done as a face, he'll turn. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just kind of a headache at this point. Drew McIntyre came back. I kind of popped a little bit. So did the crowd. The crowd was excited to see him back. Drew McIntyre, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers in WWE. And Orton ends up dropping Drew McIntyre. But again, Drew's there to talk about how, Cody didn't hesitate and he was willing to target Orton's back, and Orton hesitated and he needs to find the legend killer again, yada, 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 yada. Then they had Charlotte backstage and she's tagging with Alexa Bliss. I'm going to say this straight out. I think this is the smartest thing they've done with Charlotte Flair in years. Rebuilding Charlotte Flair is difficult, but that clearly is what they're trying to do, and they're trying to make it so that the crowd won't boo her every time she comes out, and pairing her with Alexa could work, especially with the way that they're writing this. So it was the Secret Hervis versus B-Fab and Michin versus Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Then they mentioned before the match started that Drew's going to fight Orton at Saturday Night's Main Event. Take that, All In. All In is basically being booked against by WWE. WWE is doing its best to erode support for AEW. I'll say this, I don't know how much support it erodes since I don't know how much crossover there is between AEW and WWE. And I think people are more likely to record Saturday Night's Main Event and watch All In live than vice versa. So we'll see what the numbers end up looking like, but that's how they're playing it right now. Then they had Fatu backstage, and he gets a tag team match tonight. So before we could even say, I wonder who his tag partner will be, Jimmy's right there. Jimmy Uso tagging up with Jacob. So then we get to the three-way tag match, which didn't have rules because it's a triple threat, and yet for some reason it mattered who the legal person in the ring was. Alexa ends up pinning Alba Fire, so Alba Fire in there to take the pin. I actually thought it was going to be B-Fab or Michin who got pinned here. When Charlotte accidentally tags her in, apparently patting somebody on the head counts as a tag, and Charlotte can't hear the referee going, tag. Everybody else heard it. It was the loudest an official did that all night in all of the tag matches. So after Charlotte has this kind of wry smile on her face because she understands that her and Alexa Bliss are going to get a shot at the women's tag belts. I'm okay with them winning them, although the women's tag belts have been largely mismanaged and cursed. So yeah, I guess that's the match for Evolution, and we'll see how that ends up turning out. So then all the tag teams are backstage talking about the Wyatt Six. I don't know if I like how the Wyatt Six are being booked right now, to be honest. It kind of feels like WWE's not quite sure how to do this. I do think the fans like the Wyatt Six. They do seem to get a pretty good crowd reaction, but I don't know where this is going. The one wrestler in this that I kind of feel bad for is Dexter Lumis. He's a very good wrestler, but in this Wyatt Six incarnation of his career, I don't know. I didn't really think it worked either when he was helping out Miz and stalking Miz at the same time. It was weird. But yeah, so they were against Montez, who now just goes by Tez. So very, very Vince, how names are being redone right now. Chris Sabin, Humberto, Humberto Carrillo just goes by Berto. So, alrighty. I wish this tag partner was Ernio. We could have Ernio and Bertio. Or, sure, Bertio instead of Berto. Sure, why not? And then Johnny Gargano. Now, I did like how this match finished. I thought the match finish was better than the rest of the match, where Johnny Gargano chickens out of tagging Sabin out. So Chris Sabin goes to make a tag. Gargano drops off the mat because he didn't want to fight Eric Rowan. leaving Saban to go like, dude, what's up? And I'm thinking, Saban, just get out of the ring. And instead, Rowan squashes him. So Chris Sabin takes the pin. There's been a lot of talk about Motor City Machine Guns and how they've been jobbing out, and this does not really change that perception. Motor City Machine Guns have not been portrayed very strongly since they lost the tag belts, and that continues tonight. So I will say this. I'm imagining at this point in time, Motor City Machine Guns are getting paid better than they ever have on the indies. They're probably okay with things. I don't know if things would be better for them if they went to AEW and they had that opportunity. They had a hype video for Julia. I do think Julia is the real deal. I think that she is going to be very popular. I think there's mainstream appeal for her as well as her English gets better. Tiffany came out to announce her opponent for Evolution. That brings out Queen Jade. Queen Jade, of course, is going to get a shot at SummerSlam. Evolution is being booked very last minute. We'll see how that all turns out. Usually when a pay-per-view's booked to last minute like that, it normally doesn't go very well. So Trish shows up, and Tiffany basically hands her a title shot. So Trish Stratus gets a title shot. She's not beating Tiffany Stratton at Evolution. It is sort of that final boss for Tiffany to get that recognition as being the new one. And I've seen guys online talking about like Tiffany Stratton. Oh, she looks like a dude. No, she doesn't. There's some people online that need to get out more. But at any rate, yeah, so it's going to be Trish versus Tiffany for the title. I hope Trish doesn't get hurt at this. I'm saying that because Trish hasn't been in a match that's, one-on-one overly physical in a while, so hopefully everything turns out well for her. They had a promo for Solo with the belt, and Talatonga, Hikuleo, was there. So they're really building up the formerly known as Hikuleo to be this major threat in WWE. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everybody in WWE at some point in time, they're all going to be Samoan. I think all of the Samoan wrestlers have like 4, 5, 6 kids each. Yeah, 20 years from now, everybody's Samoan. WWE is going to be the World Wrestling Samoan Federation. It's just WWSF. That's where they're headed. And rightfully so, because the Samoans are main event and everything. So why not? Sure. So yeah, Talatonga, they're really building him up. Then Jade had a little exchange with Trish. Trish walks off, and 2 seconds later, Naomi jumps Jade. And I thought, wow, so Trish is right there, saw that, and didn't do anything about it. All right, cool. But yeah, Naomi attacks Jade. This feud's been going on for a while. Clearly, the what they seem to be setting up is that Jade beats Tiff, and it's after a really, really tough match, and then Naomi's music plays, Naomi takes the title off Jade Cargill, and then you've got yourself a feud built in right there. Fraxium versus Andrade and Rey Fénix was next, as we have another tag match. Everything was a tag match tonight. Again, if you didn't like tag wrestling, too bad, so sad. It ends with Andrade pinning Frazier. And so it does feel like Andrade and Rey Fénix are being set up for some kind of a tag title run. Although the Wyatt Six, it looks like, are being set up for a tag title run. The one thing I'll say right now, they are trying to build up the tag division. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. I would have appreciated some kind of singles match, but we'll get at least one next week. Priest was backstage with Aleister Black. R-Truth / Ron Killings is going to fight Aleister Black next week. And it'll be interesting to see what they do, because Aleister Black is, to me, a main event talent who has never been really truly treated like that on the main roster in WWE. He was never really treated like a main event threat in AEW. He has the look, he has the talent, he has the size, everything's there. It's just a matter of him getting that push. And so I think he ends up going over against Killings next week, but we shall see. It feels like they're setting up Priest and Aleister Black for a feud, even though right now Damian Priest has nothing going. I don't think Damian Priest has anything going for him right now. I feel like his title run's kind of a forgotten thing. And so that's my opinion personally. Just me personally. So then we had Jacob Fatu and Jimmy against Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo, who is still Jeff Cobb to me personally. Fatu ends up pinning Solo to win it. So of course the not bloodline comes out. They're clearly not the bloodline just because they do all the same things as the bloodline. They don't have the necklace. I guess without the Ulafala, that's what makes them not the bloodline. So if they had Nula Fala, then they're the bloodline. But if they did that, then Roman Reigns would have to come back. One thing with all the Jacob Fatu stuff and all of the Samoan wrestlers, it really does make it so that if Roman Reigns decides, you know what, I'm going to retire, I'm not going to come back, I think WWE's ready for that. I think that they've built a pretty big star with Jacob Fatu, and Jimmy Uso has become a pretty big star too. So they don't really need Roman Reigns to come back at this point. I know he likely will, but he doesn't looks like he won't be at SummerSlam. At least I don't think so. But it is going to be interesting to see how this whole not the bloodline storyline works out, because it's not the bloodline against also not the bloodline, definitely not the bloodline, but they're totally the bloodline. So yeah, I will agree with some fans that it feels like this has been going on for a very long time and everything's just kind of the same. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I thought that Smackdown was okay, but it was a lot of tag wrestling. And if you really look at it, nothing changed tonight. There was no major change in any of the storylines tonight. It's basically the same coming out as going in. And so kind of a meh show. If I was going to rank it out of 10, I would say for the wrestling, I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8, but for storylines, probably a 5, because it didn't feel like there was a lot of advancement there. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event that you may not have done so already. And once again, Ron Killings, absolutely fantastic. I finally got this shirt. I did see somebody in the comment section saying they hadn't got theirs yet. Hopefully you've got yours now. At any rate, thank you guys so much for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will talk to you again soon.